Hey guys, it's Miss Landry again. This is the second video for lesson 1.1a, which is all about the nature of science. We stopped last time on observation and inference, so let's try a few review questions. Number one, true or false? It is bad if your data does not support your hypothesis. So basically, if you're wrong. And the number two, go ahead and jot these answers down on your guided notes. The nature or process of science is linear. And then finally, number three, true or false, observation is based on prior knowledge. Okay, these actually are all false. Yes. So it's not bad if your data doesn't support your hypothesis. It just means you need to revisit and kind of revise. The nature or process of science is not linear. It's actually more like a spider web. And then finally, observation is not based on prior knowledge. That would be inference. So hopefully you got those. So let's move on. Okay, we're going to learn how to write hypotheses in this video. So we're going to use an if-then statement. Now, eventually we'll add the because, but to start, let's just practice our if-then statements. Okay, so there's two things that all your hypotheses have to be. So this is what makes a good hypothesis. Number one, it has to be testable. So a question about like, I'm trying to think of something that would not be testable. There is a God. That's not testable, right? You can't test that. Now, it also should be a specific prediction of what you think will happen. So, for example, I think that if you eat a lot of Cheetos, your hip circumference will increase. Or I think if I give this fertilizer to this plant, the plant will grow faster. Okay, so it has to be specific. Now, here's another example. If I don't eat breakfast, I will not perform well in my morning classes. And again, later on, we'll start adding the because. For now, just practice with the if-then. Excuse me. Okay, so here's a question. Does changing the amount of light make plants grow differently? So that's my question. Pause the video, and I want you to figure out which of the following choices is the best hypothesis. Oh my gosh, I'm really struggling. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. Is the best hypothesis for that question. So does changing the amount of light make plants grow differently? So pause the video and decide which one you think is best. Okay, so light will affect how plants grow is wrong because it's not in an if-then statement. If I give a plant more light, then it will grow more in height than others. I like that one because it is measurable with the height. So we're going to hold that one as a possibility. If I give all plants more light, then they will grow more. That one's okay, but you don't really have anything to compare it to see if it was the light that made the difference. And then finally, plants grow more based on the amount of light. That is not an if-then statement. So I am going to say that B is the correct answer. So if you chose B, good job. Okay, let's move on. I want you to practice writing a hypothesis, okay? So I have an observation of my class, and yes, this is from your class last year. I noticed that students that play video games during class don't do as well on exams. That was what I observed. The question I have is, do video games during class actually affect their test score? So I want you to go ahead and pause the video and write a hypothesis in an if-then statement. Okay, so come on back, and I would say it could be something like if a student plays video games during class, then their test scores will be lower than the average. Or you could say something like if a student plays games for 20 minutes or longer, then their test scores will be lower. So lots of different ways you could write that. Just make sure it's in an if-then, it's testable, and it has a prediction, okay? And I believe that is it for this video, nice and short. So make sure to go ahead and do that. Make sure your guided notes are all filled out, and then there's some practice at the bottom of it. So go ahead and finish that, and I'll see you guys later.